obviously, from last year to this year, a lot of, actually even before the pandemic, a lot of small businesses or MSMEs have a difficult time, surviving. Obviously, not many businesses uh, translate to long-term viability, not just on the first year but succeeding years. And one of the key issues for many businesses that does not survive or even get started is getting the financial backing to be able to start a business and grow their business from micro to small to medium or even to a large corporation here. And one of the key issues is obviously companies or startups can borrow money from the bank, but as you can see, many banks or big financial institutions are very reluctant on lending money, especially if you don't have any collateral when you're starting out. And obviously for big financial institutions, they're always on the lookout for bigger businesses or corporations who tends to have the coffers to pay a substantial amount, a bigger amount compared to micro SMEs. So they tend not to, what do you call this? They tend not to prioritize the smaller businesses compared to the large businesses. So here comes in a company, a fintech in Kenya, Asilimia. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. They're trying to uh, provide that gap for micro businesses by raising capitals to be able to extend loans to those small businesses, in particular in East Africa. So according to TechCrunch.com, let's see here. So Asimilia is raising $2 million to pre-seed money, so to be able to extend loans for micro SMEs here and expand in East Africa. I think this is not just applicable in their region, but also I think everywhere else, because for businesses to prosper, to grow, obviously, you need to start from small, humble beginnings. And obviously, getting more support from your financial institution, from your government, enhances that capability. And the benefit of doing that is if you can turn around your business to a successful business, you can hire more people, and obviously that can benefit the economy in the long run here. And obviously, paying those taxes obviously could benefit the economy as well here. So as a company here, let's see here. So how are they able to do that? So let's see here. So Kenya's economy is powered by informal businesses, and which contributes 33% to the country's GDP and provide 83% of total employment outside of small scale agriculture. So as you can see here, even businesses, there are different types, formal and informal. And if your country is comprised of, a substantial chunk of your population that is into informal, so raising capital is very difficult. Obviously, typically either you have the money or you don't, or if you don't have the money, you need to borrow, as mentioned. So obviously borrow from your family members, from your community. Obviously, the last effort is going to banking institutions or through your government. And obviously, government has, I wouldn't say don't have the necessary resources, but not enough support to help those businesses. That's why the banking institution is the key to everything here. But as I mentioned earlier, if a financial institution has little to no incentive, because if small businesses were to be able to borrow money, but there's no collateral, what if that businesses closed down or suffered a horrific bankruptcy for whatever reason? Then obviously the bank will be holding an eggshell, so to speak. So the question here is, how can you guarantee the loan that you're making for a business and ensure that the banks, regardless of the amount that you're borrowing, can be recouped or even make a profit out of it? So here comes the company, Asimilia, as mentioned, who is planning to provide that services by providing a financing gap left by the conventional banking institution, as mentioned. So provides an opportunity for innovation here. So you have fintechs like Asimilia, as mentioned, a Kenyan startup, offering lifeline for traders in Kenya by enabling them to make mobile money transactions that are devoid of charges. I think this is tremendous offerings here. Obviously, on the side of businesses, if you have very little to no collateral to trade off, then obviously having these offerings to you is tremendous, but the question is, how would the business, or in this case Asimilia, make money out of it? Is it making through advertisements, or if they're not charging a certain fee, which other financial institution does, can be problematic here. Anyway, they go on to say that they have secured $2 million of pre-seed money, meaning 1 million of equity and then 1 million of debt. So the startup is headed for its next phase of growth, which involved extending loans to traders, offering more relief to subgroups that is left out and regarded as high risk by institutional sectors. And I think that's tremendous here, because offering a lifeline for many small businesses, especially during the current situation here, especially after the pandemic, people are still reeling in, businesses had to close, and you want to encourage people to start new businesses, create more businesses, more jobs, so that it sustains the economy as well. So it's somewhat like the chicken of the egg, which would come first, the support or the business startup, as mentioned earlier. Now, they mentioned that the key funding from various investors came from Frederick Jung Ubo, a two-time unicorn founder and Norsken Impact Accelerator, while the debt round had the participation of French Public Investment Bank, BPI France, and Green Tech Capital Partners here. So obviously there's been a lot of support from different institutions here, from the public, from the private sector here. So I think it's going to be tremendous here. Hopefully this can be adopted, not just in Africa, which what they're doing tremendous. Obviously, it can be, hopefully can be implemented also here in the country, which, for based on our data here, 90% of our businesses are comprised of micro SMEs here, which is pretty plenty, diba? And I think micro businesses comprise almost 80%. So the large chunk of business are still in the small stage, and obviously helping them out financially would be a boon. And obviously for the businesses, they have to be educated in terms of business capability, and financial sustainability has to be taught to them, encouraged. And on the other end, the financial institutions who are supposed to lend them the money has to work in tandem here. And obviously the government has to play its role to be able to do this effectively. Otherwise, we'll be always in this doldrum of, people will always be stuck at first gear and never reach their maximum potential. And based on statistical data, let's say out of 10 businesses who start up every year, only one tends to survive. Obviously, we want to increase the chances so that more businesses succeed. And if more businesses succeed, more people will succeed. And if those businesses grow, more people will be hired, more revenue, more income for people, more taxes. It has a positive effect if we can help as many small businesses as possible here.